body.
Oh no, it's John Davis in Super Drag. That's very different.
He's just going for a more respectable angle, you know.
And they're all related to Garfield's Jim Davis.
Oh yeah,
right. Tomato, potato. Really, at the end of the day.
And Garfield Food Truck needs to fucking give us a little bit of money.
I responded to that tweet.
Oh, you did?
Just so you guys know, we're recording.
Oh.
Alrighty.
Hello, and welcome to the 18th episode of the Cage Fight podcast at this point.
Cage Fight's legal!
Yeah, woohoo. I can finally get to fucking...
A barely legal cage fight.
Oh, my fucking computer screen is just going bonkers. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
You're looking at barely legal stuff.
The FBI is like, we finally found you. This was technically illegal, not barely legal. This is barely illegal.
Yeah. They're like 17 and a half, and it's like in Mississippi.
Listen, she was 17 months, or no, she was 17 years and 11 months.
She was 17 months.
And the 17 months is fully illegal, guys. We do not condone 17-month-old porn.
We are not.
We're off to a great start. Y'all want the theme song again?
Okay.
Yeah, this is not the Lost Prophets lead singer. We are not endorsing.
We do not endorse. But I was talking about that tweet that made me angry.
Fucking Promineo Studios, or I don't know how you pronounce it. I'll learn to pronounce it when you properly compensate us for our work. Has responded to our demands that they pay us for our free advertising we've been doing for Garfield Food Truck, and all they said was that they don't have any money, essentially, which I call bullshit on that. And
I call bullshit on that, too. And also, even if they have just a little money, it's more than we have, so...
Absolutely true. And we deserve some compensation for our labor. That's all I'm saying. And
I looked on the App Store, and they have another Garfield game, and I'm not going to say it, the name of it, on air until we get paid, baby.
Oh, yeah.
And don't look it up.
Yeah, don't look it up. But yeah, I don't know. If you can pay to license Garfield for 2 separate games, you can pay us for the advertising we've been giving you. All right?
Yeah, come on, throw us a fucking Buffalo nickel or something. Shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it says their studio is located in Spain, which I'm pretty sure they're like fucking pretty rich there, with all the like Spanish food they got.
Yeah.
It's very rich.
You know, what I think is cool about Cage Fight is that we're not just here to talk about Nicolas Cage. Sometimes we're Garfield truthers, and I think we need those in the society.
Absolutely.
See, this is a slice of life podcast, you know? You come for the Cage discussion, and you stay for the insights.
The insights into Garfield, into Fred Durst, into,
Cage, into...
See, when you said insights, I heard incest, and I stay for that, too.
Hey... We'll stay for the incest, barely legal, depending on where you're located.
Yeah, y'all were talking Mississippi, right?
Oh. Yeah, we are actually recording from Mississippi.
I mean, I'm here for the barely illegal incest porn.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not dealing with that.
We're gonna be on fucking government list by the end of this fucking episode.
Yeah, let's move on. I don't think we've introduced ourselves properly. I'm Jess. Everybody else sound off.
I'm Mike. Hi.
This is Taylor once again joining you for part 2 of my my contributions to Cage Fight.
It's your boy Dave. I've been here all along in this control room, not giving a fuck.
Yeah, fuck you, Dave.
I've been here for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I've been actually, I'm recording from my car right now. But I've been parked under a bridge because I exhumed Zach's body last week. He was actually buried with some really important documents, a la National Treasure, and those documents included some dirt on Dave that we could use to cancel him. So dug up the body, got chased by the cops, and I've been hiding out here ever since.
No, Mike is definitely recording this from the front seat of his car, and after this episode of Cage Fight, he will be filming a video on why illegal immigration is bad.
Yeah. Right. I mean, and actually,
his car is a large pickup truck for the record, and he is wearing a pair of tactical sunglasses.
He's wearing an oversized trucker hat of a red kind, if you know what I mean.
while we're on the subject, I think actually legal immigration is wrong, and you should just pretty much, deal with what you're given, and don't bother me. So.
Okay.
I think that's the take we can all agree on, and take that Nick Cage would probably very much agree to in these movies that we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Quite
And
frankly.
I know if he had the choice, he would have never left Nolans. So
No, I don't want to spoil it. Neither of these movies were set in Nolans. Okay.
for a second, I thought one of them was, or
No.
maybe.
We will get to that, and I have a lot of issues with where that movie was set.
Oh boy.
So yeah, since we're already getting to it, the two movies we're discussing today are Gone in 60 Seconds and Rage, which came out in 2014. If you're trying to look that one up, because there are like 8 or 9 different movies named Rage that have come out over the last 60 years.
What a fucking disaster! Why would you name a movie with somebody like Nick Cage something so generic?
Yeah.
Rage Cage, you know?
Rage
Cage. So we'll start with Gone in 60 Seconds. This movie is rated PG-13 and came out in the year 2000.
Great year. This came out right on the tail of that beautiful 1999 sequence of bangers. And let me tell you something, this might be the greatest movie ever made.
Oh yeah. Well,
yeah, I definitely don't want to spoil my opinions on it, but this movie is inarguably better than, I mean, what, Citizen Kane, Godfather, fucking good. I mean, literally better than every movie ever made. I totally agree.
Can't think of a movie that, except for maybe Freddy Got Fingered, that is better than this one.
Okay, never mind. You had a good point. Freddy Got Fingered is definitely the GOAT for sure.
That's a classic.
But
Stone Cold.
Top 3 for sure.
But yeah, it was directed by Dominic Sena, with an S, not a C, who, I hadn't heard of before, and I didn't really bother looking up. So,
well, actually,
you're great at this, Jess. Keep going.
I am quite good.
You should have looked him up because we're going to be talking about him 2 episodes in a row.
Oh shit!
Because he directed Season of the Witch, which we're going to be covering in the next matchup.
Oh.
Also directed Swordfish, the John Travolta picture, and California with a K, with Brad Pitt and Juliette Lewis.
Oh, okay.
It's just called California, not California with a K. But he also did a bunch of music videos for like Janet Jackson, Bryan Adams, Sting, and Tina Turner.
Ooh.
And not to get too off topic, but Swordfish is, talk about top 3 movies of all time. That's another top 3 movie. You should definitely watch it at some point.
I like the part with Halle Berry.
Halle Berry was extremely hot in that movie. That is for sure. Extremely hot.
I've never actually seen it, but I do remember my dad being like really horny about it when I was a kid.
Dude,
which
mine
is
too.
Probably why I haven't watched it as an adult. But I'll get to it.
Not to spoil it too much, but the movie came out 3 months before 9/11 and literally predicted 9/11. I'm not even kidding. It's really, really ominous when you watch it now.
Oh shit! Wait, how did
I know it's like I said, this movie came out in June of 2001. So this movie was very...
Actually, another movie that came out just before 9/11, which I believe predicted some of the events, is Shrek, which came out just a few months beforehand. And I feel like that doing so well in the box office might have motivated some of the terror attacks that occurred on that day.
Oh, you're right. It did come out just before 9/11. That makes a lot of sense now. I'm glad you brought that up. I actually thought it came out a little bit after, but damn. Mm-hmm. I wonder if Muhammad Atta watched Shrek just for preparation.
That was the last bit of joy we had in this country, and they wanted to strip it away from us.
Okay. This podcast, I think, mentions 9/11 almost as much as it mentions Nicolas Cage.
Well, he is in World Trade Center, so it's I'll make the statement that it's relevant and overruled.
Okay.
Y'all just wait until GWB gets on this podcast.
Yeah, we get the truth out of him. But
yeah, we're
is that 9/11 is always relevant because it affected all of us on a deep level.
Yeah, and you're supposed to never forget it. So I try to bring it up in every conversation at least one time.
Yeah, you are related to Rudy Giuliani, correct?
Oh yeah, actually, I'm married to him. and he's really hot.
That is, yeah.
Wait,
The true sex pot, that man.
a reggae singer named Rude Boy Giuliani.
Yes, he bangs that steel drum, and he fucking bangs my hole too. Pretty good.
I don't know where that thought came
Hey,
from.
I already got a boner.
But you call him rude boy pussy, Julie.
Yeah, and
Rude
he also-
Boy Pussy Giuliani. I like this. Someone has to tweet that out right now. Okay. So production companies for this one were Touchstone Pictures and Jerry Bruckheimer Films. It has a runtime of 113 minutes and a budget of $100 million. And guess the gross on this one, guys. The box office.
Ooh.
Wasn't it like 200, something like that?
Yeah, I remember reading that this movie did way better than it should have. So I'm gonna say this one is in the black. No, in the red. In the black. Which is the good one? Black.
In the black. And $237.2 million. That means this one's in the black. You know,
All right.
that is the first one in a long time, and that is
We're
10.
back in black.
And I had the numbers very wrong last time. It's 10 out of 35 movies at this point now. So,
and I have a question, Jess. Just curious. The highest grossing film was Zandali, right?
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if not Zandali, Arsenal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Arsenal.
Actually, also, this movie was written by a guy named Scott Rosenberg, who also has a screenplay credits on Con Air, High Fidelity, and most importantly, Kangaroo Jack and the new Venom and Jumanji movies.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
And he's also currently working on a film adaptation of One Punch Man and is the executive producer of the new Cowboy Bebop miniseries.
Wait, what the fuck? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Okay, this guy's in a lot of shit. I love to see Kangaroo Jack alumni, out there in the world doing good things. So,
Yo, guys, just gonna quick throw this out there. We are in a severe thunderstorm warning, and out the window it just turned to like a doom storm, so we're probably gonna lose power at some point. Just saying.
Oh, hell.
I'm supposed to get 60-mile-an-hour wind and penny-sized hail.
Oh, that's
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
lovely. Okay.
I gotta shut the window.
Yeah.
Technical difficulties on cage fights.
There might be, yeah. If the power goes out, y'all know, and we'll have to reconvene at another point. But-
Can we try to get the footage together and be like, this is the lost footage of cage fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not playing around. It looks like the world's about to fucking end out the window.
Yeah, I can hear it with my Shell headphones on, so yeah, it's pretty fucking...
oh boy. Well, I guess we'll
Jesus
see how
Christ.
this goes.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes, 25% on the tomato meter from critics, 77% from audiences. So people like this one a lot more than critics do.
And I'm gonna say 25% is criminally low for this movie. Like, this movie, I liked it.
Yeah, those are some stuck-up ass critics. I got to be honest here.
Yeah, this movie was not well received, including by the cast. Like Christopher Eccleston said he played a bad role in a bad movie, and when people stopped him on the street and recognized him from it and said that he was bad in it, he would agree with them. So not a lot of love for this movie initially, but I feel like has retroactively become, somewhat of like an action movie cult classic.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I don't know, this movie fucking rocks, and it's not an Oscar worthy picture, but it scratches some itches.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It certainly does. Mike, do you have any trivia notes?
Yeah. I brought up
God
the
damn,
writer
this storm
before.
is intense. I'm sorry. But just
You got a window in there? Because it's fucked up in here.
I brought up the writer before, but for full transparency, he did leave the project midway through after disagreements with the director about rewrites. So Jonathan Hensley and J.J. Abrams came in and did an uncredited rewrite of the script at the end. So the big main car in the movie that not Nathan. Why the fuck did I say Nathan?
Nathan
Nicolas
Fielder.
The car in the movie that Nathan Fielder wants to have sex with, Eleanor. There were 7 replicas of it made for the movie, and 5 of them were totaled during stunt sequences. And then Nicolas Cage and Jerry Bruckheimer kept the remaining 2.
Oh.
And Cage apparently takes his out regularly for joyrides, which sounds sexy to me.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
He attended 3 different driving schools to prepare for this movie, and did all his own stunt driving, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I gotta say, Cage really does prepare for a role. If
He
we
really
found out
does.
anything about him, I mean, like,
He
dude
was-
learned Navajo and he didn't even have to.
He probably gets pulled over for racing, and he fucking yells in Navajo at the cops. And apparently, he liked one of the schools was like a race car driving school, and he enjoyed it so much that he continued to pursue it as a hobby after the movie was finished. So that's fun.
Damn
What
fine
else
work,
we got
Katie.
here? This is my favorite fun fact. In some Greek theaters, the title was translated to "Come in 60 Seconds." Which, I hope the Greek audiences didn't take that as a challenge, because this could have been a Pee Wee Herman situation in a lot of Greek theaters.
And I'm going to say this. I mean, the first 60 seconds that Angelina Jolie appears in this movie, I think coming in 60 seconds is totally possible.
Absolutely.
Imagine if Halle Berry was in it.
Uh,
Oh, dude, I come in like 5 seconds. Like, seriously.
I can pretty much blast on
That's some
command if
stamina.
it's Angelina Jolie, I can blast in about 3 seconds if Billy Bob Thornton is there too. So
I don't know. Angelina Jolie, to me, in this movie, it was mostly just kind of stark and strange that she was blonde in this movie. And I was more like, whoa, that...
Yeah. Blonde is definitely not a suitable hair color. I mean, I don't know if I should say suitable, but it's just very off-putting for her, because I'm always just used to her having kind of darkish hair. So
Oh, yeah.
while I agree,
Lara Croft didn't dye her hair blonde.
that's true.
I don't know. This movie gave me like my first boner and like dry splooge. So there was a little bit of nostalgia for like, I want to bang her hair or whatever.
Oh, okay. Well, good for you. I'm glad you could remember that experience.
Yeah. Anyway, so Timothy Olyphant, after this movie, was the studio's first choice to play Vin Diesel's character in Fast and the Furious. But he turned it down because he felt that these movies were too similar. And so a guy named Vin Diesel got the role.
Who the fuck is that guy?
I think he's Ving Rhames' cousin. I don't know.
I wish they were related. That would be fuck. We should do a Vin Diesel podcast, though. I don't know.
We should.
Oh, I think he has a cousin named Van Gasoline. Although I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, and then there's Vong Ethanol.
Vong Ethanol.
So the film trailer for this movie was narrated by Melissa Disney. I'm gonna say no relation, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But this film is widely credited as one of the first major movies to employ a female trailer voice, which I thought was fun.
Ooh.
I can't honestly remember a single movie trailer I've seen with a female voice.
I can't name one.
Yeah,
So-
I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Because they always had that guy back in the days, like, coming this summer, and you would do like some like creepy fucking thing over like the Friday 13th trailer or whatever. But no, I've never heard of a female voice actor for
Yeah.
trailers. It's interesting.
Yeah, and then after that guy died, they basically stopped doing trailer voiceovers at all.
And I can't remember what his name was, but he did fucking probably 10,000 trailers in his fucking life. Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he did so many. Even though like everybody can do that voice, come on, let's be real.
Oh, it was Don LaFontaine. That was his name.
Yeah.
From Duluth. No wonder he had that voice.
From where?
Duluth, Minnesota. No wonder he had that voice.
Oh. Isn't that
I mean,
Bob
you know,
Dylan's hometown?
Yeah, I was gonna say another alumni with a great voice from that town, Bob Dylan.
I got 2 more for you. The only true Shelby GT 500, which was Eleanor, in the movie, was given to Nicolas Cage's character at the end, and it belonged to a car collector, and he consented to it being used in the movie as long as it was returned in the original condition. So they like every part on the car that they could unbolt, they replaced with junk parts just to be safe.
Oh wow.
Which is what I thought they were referencing in the dozens of reviews that I read that were written in the last like month about. As I went on IMDb, looked at the 1-star reviews, and there's just a flood of them from angry fans of this like YouTube guy named Chris Steinbacher. He runs a channel called B is for Build, and he was apparently building an Eleanor replica, and got sued by the estate of the guy who made the original Gone in 60 Seconds. And so they took the car away from him, I think, and they like wouldn't let him call it Eleanor. And so there was a bunch of reviews that were like, the people who made this suck. They don't write movies about stealing cars. They actually steal cars.
Well, okay, I've got to say, this is just a funny situation all around. Well, one, that is kind of bullshit. First of all, that they took that car from him. Secondly, it's the wrong movie. God.
Yeah,
I love fanboy pylons that don't make any sense. I love shit like that. It's so fucking funny. So I was like, "You're a fucking bitch." It's like, listen, that was like my grandmother 50 years ago. Can you like not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the reason they're mad at this movie is because the replica was from Eleanor in this movie, which Eleanor was a different car in the original. So
Oh yeah, I think I read it in the original. It was like a '73 Mustang, and in this one it's a
Something like
'67
that, yeah.
Shelby Mustang GT, which I believe is like, I call that the quintessential boomer dad car. Every boomer dad's dream car, because it's I don't know. I think it has something to do with it having been in like a Bullet, that Steve McQueen movie.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like the big boomer car, and they have like an 8-track player in it, and they just fucking put all like Led Zeppelin 8-tracks in it, and they blast around with their mullets, being like, "Fuck yeah, mother."
Well, if there's any angry fans of the B is for Build YouTube channel listening, we stand with you, and we will break into the Smithsonian and get that car back for you guys. So
You ever watch that guy's shit? It's pretty good.
No, I haven't seen that.
no, but what happened to him was wrong, and we will fight for his right to party.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say infinite solidarity to people for fan pylons of things that don't make sense. Absolute solidarity. They're the truth.
These are the same people who bullied that Star Wars actress off of Twitter, I think.
Oh God, no.
But we forgive them now.
Yeah, they're super cool people. We love them.
Okay, let's move on to the plot summary here. The first thing you're treated to in this movie is an extremely long opening credits sequence.
Oh man, it was so fucking long.
Yeah, and this really bad song is playing. That's like a really bad like hip hop mixed with like, it samples some like, hoedown country song where
Yeah,
I don't know
And
what's going on.
it was like they wanted to do a James Bond opening, but there was like no cold open. It just drops you into this super long opening title sequence, and honestly, it's impossible not to tune out in like the first 2 minutes because it's like 10 minutes long.
Absolutely.
So you're telling us, Jess, that the opening, like the title track for this movie is hip hop? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. Yep. It's hip hop.
They gotta, they know their audience. And sometimes you just gotta, you drive to the theater with the Kid Rock CD in the disc drive, and you go and see a good car movie.
So that's the thing, though, right? Is that anyone who did like Kid Rock probably fucking loved this movie. Let's be honest.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like if you owned Devil Without a Cause on cassette and CD, you probably have several DVD copies of this movie.
Now, I wouldn't go that fast because I own both, and I've never seen this movie.
Wait, did you really own both of those?
Well, I bought the CD. Yeah, this isn't fucking pertinent to the podcast. I gotta keep taking notes. I really think I might die.
Yeah, I'm a little worried I might die too. The tree outside my window is going fucking nuts.
The little tree that's by the porch, it went totally fucking flat horizontal for a little while there. It was quite frightening.
Oh.
Yeah, it is absolutely pouring by me, and I live like 30 miles away from you guys.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of thunder and lightning out my window here. And this might be the last episode we ever record, fellas. I don't know.
Well, hey, at least you guys aren't surrounded by very high voltage electronic devices during this.
Hey, you
And
don't
a
know
bunch of like 50-foot tall trees because we live in the middle of nowhere.
No, I kind of feel like the last people who were like at the American embassy in like Saigon before the North Vietnamese we're staying until the end until we can't go.
Isn't that in Argo?
No,
Yeah,
I don't
kinda
think
like-
so at all. But
Argo,
I'm pretty sure that's the plot of Argo.
okay.
Yeah, no, definitely. There were a lot of Vietnamese people in Iran at that point, for sure. So
Wait, what is the movie Argo about? Because I thought
It's about Argo fuck yourself. That's the whole plot of the movie.
I'm pretty
Argo
sure it's
fuck
about
yourself.
a big horse.
Okay, we've been 30 minutes in and I've got a sentence into the plot summary, so I gotta keep going here. But it starts out, some guys steal a Porsche 911 from a Porsche dealership. There is some really bad ADR during this opening scene, but that's a side point. ADR, automated dialogue replacement. But they drive it back to some warehouse where there's tons of other stolen cars, and they show the cops walking around and suspect that in order to steal these cars, they must have someone who works at like the manufacturing company getting them access to like the special keys and shit that they need. And I mean, I got to be totally honest here. I really don't think it's that hard to steal a car.
Well, these
Especially
were
in fucking the year 2000. Come on, guys.
yeah, no,
new Mercedes.
there were not a lot of anti-theft mechanisms on pretty much any car in like year 2000 and prior. That was not much of a thing. It was incredibly easy to steal the vast majority of vehicles.
Yeah, but in the mythology of the movie, these are the brand new unstealable Mercedes that you need a laser cut transponder key to get into.
Come in this year, the new 2001 Mercedes, the unstealable Mercedes. I guarantee you won't be able to bust the windows or hot wire this thing at all. You can guarantee it in the next.
Feel free to try.
Feel free to try. They have like at the Mercedes dealerships, they have like the two wires underneath the fucking. Like, you can hook these together. We'll give you in under 3 minutes. We'll give you $10,000.
But yeah, so then it cuts to Cage after that, who runs like a go-kart rink in some southwest town. He's left his old life as a car thief, but some guy from his old life comes back to talk to him and says his brother's been captured after a car theft job went wrong. So
and I'm sorry, it's kind of like a, oh Jesus, all right, it was a very loud ass bolt of thunder and lightning out there. But I will say it's kind of like El Chapo going from being like, you know, drug kingpin to selling hot dogs on the street corner. Like, you have a guy who sell like the cars, and he's like, listen, now I left that life behind, and now I sell kids $2 bags of popcorn before they go on the go-kart.
it's like if El Chapo went from drug kingpin to like, you know, selling like bad multivitamins for like a multi-level marketing scheme, like at like parties. I don't know. So Cage goes back to go and try and help out his brother, who he didn't even know was stealing cars. And we see Christopher Eccleston, who has hair in this movie. First time I've ever seen him with hair, I believe, because every other role he's had a shaved head. Because he was the 9th Doctor, I believe, in Doctor Who, and then he was in fucking the zombie movie. You know,
He played Doctor Who. He was Doctor Who.
Well, yeah, he was Doctor Who, and then the whatever zombie movie I can't remember right now. It doesn't matter.
And he was in the second Thor movie as some kind of dark elf.
Oh yeah, but
he was in a 28 Days Later.
28 Days Later. That's it. I was like, I could picture the cover. It's something about. It's got a number.
How do you forget 28 Days Later, Jess? The best zombie movie of all time.
28 Doctor Who's later.
I do think that's a good zombie movie, but I go to Romero for the best ones personally. But because I'm
okay, that's not a fair point. I should say the best international zombie film.
So Christopher Eccleston is like the boss guy, and he's holding his brother hostage. And in order to get his brother like freed of the debt where he won't kill him, Cage has to steal 50 fancy cars within 4 days. He has until 8 a.m. Friday morning. In response to this, Cage, he relents and agrees. but he tries to get like his old team back together, which includes like a guy named the Sphinx who doesn't talk. That's his whole thing.
He's big and scary.
Yeah, he's big and scary, and he doesn't talk. And
he's the guy who plays fucking the Juggernaut in X-Men Last Stand.
Was that guy, wasn't it?
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah, Vinnie Jones. He's also in Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
But he also meets with Angelina Jolie, who in this movie sports like blonde hair that alternates between dreads and not dreads. It's interesting.
Yeah, very weird.
But she is both a mechanic and a bartender and no longer does car theft. Then we see like the rest of the team are like people that worked with Cage's brother. There's a guy named like Mirror Man, who's the electronics expert. A guy named Tumbler, who can drive anything. Toby, who is a computer genius. He can hack into the DMV mainframe, which I believe are the exact words they used.
That's the thing, Jess. You kind of skipped it over, but Tumblr in this movie was the guy who literally created the website Tumblr.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and he actually didn't intend for it to have porn on it.
Oh. Nope.
He intended it to have child porn, but not adult porn. Let's be honest.
Yeah, barely illegal porn.
Yeah, Angelina Jolie needed some convincing, but she does eventually join, and they got the whole team together. And so they work out a system where they're going to call the cars women's names in order to avoid anybody who's listening in on their radio frequencies from knowing what they're targeting and what they're doing. Although this does sound kind of creepy when you're talking about targeting various women over radio waves, I feel like that might draw more attention. But
you know what, Jess? I think all of us in the internet know about targeting women. Like that's what we all know and understand.
Do you really think the authorities are trying to prevent human trafficking?
I mean, they're not really doing a very good job of it if they're trying. But
yeah, I feel like I'd rather them think I was human trafficking than stealing cars, because if I was stealing cars, they would try to catch me.
That's very true. That is very true.
But like this whole time, from pretty much minute one, Cage is getting like hounded by these two detectives, played by Delroy Lindo, who's been in a bunch of Spike Lee movies, and Timothy Olyphant, who's from Deadwood and a bunch of other movies also. They approach Cage and they're basically telling him that due to his history that he's on thin ice, like they're watching every move that he makes. Any slip-ups will result in him being put away for life. And there's a great line here when they first approach him and they ask why he's back in town. He says that he's in town to see the Lakers because he heard they got Shaquille. And this is 4 years after the Los Angeles Lakers acquired Shaquille O'Neal. So he's a little bit late, but maybe he was in jail. Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe he just doesn't keep up with basketball news, and word finally got to him.
He finally heard that Aaron Carter song about Shaq, and he was like, "I gotta see what this guy is about." And
that's the thing, is that Nick Cage literally gets his mail via like literal snail mail, so he has a snail deliver it to his house.
Yeah. So they pick out 50 cars that are in the area. They find them through various means. I don't remember all of the means.
I know they find one of them by watching a couple have sex for some reason. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, because they got a cool Lamborghini, and they got cool sex.
That's a little bit later. They've already targeted that car for theft, but that's when they're stealing it. But yeah. But so yeah, and in all this, Cage talks to a Mustang Eleanor that he'll be stealing last. It's a 67 Shelby Mustang, which are like, you know, like I said, Boomer Dad dream cars. There are some guys who are mad at Cage for taking this job to steal 50 cars because they wanted the work, because they wanted to make the money. And they kind of show up and try to kill him and the other people he's working with. Cage and them like manage to evade them, and they walk into a diner where there's a cop is inside the diner, and they realize, you know, these guys aren't going to try anything while a cop's nearby. So they're sitting outside in the car watching them, and Cage manages to get away by, you know, distracting them and having his brother run out and tie like a
he chains a semi to the front axle of their car.
Yeah, and it pulls off, and Then the cop arrests them because it finds a bunch of illegal weapons on them. I thought it was kind of cool. It was a neat little scene, you know?
It was.
I have a little bit of trivia for that scene. The guy driving that car is the rapper Master P for some reason. I don't know why he's in this movie.
That's what I was just gonna say. I for some reason recognized him immediately. I was like, wait, is Master P in this fucking movie right now?
I'm disappointed in myself for not recognizing him. Holy shit. Okay. I feel bad now. I feel embarrassed.
I saw him on screen, and he made me say, ugh.
Da-na-na-na, what?
Yeah.
You were fucking bout it.
And I'm the father of Lil Romeo.
So after that, they're in the warehouse prepping because they're going to go out and start stealing the cars that night, which is the last night before their deadline.
Of the 4 days they have, they burn through 3 of them just getting everything set up. And so they put themselves in a position where they have to steal 50 cars inside of a day, while the cops are onto them and just waiting for them to steal high-class vehicles.
Yep.
Yeah, no, and in the Los Angeles area, which has infamously terrible traffic, so this whole plan could have been foiled just by getting into a couple traffic jams too.
Right. It's honestly absurd, but it adds to the the intensity of it, even though it's completely unrealistic. I mean, you gotta stay and figure out how these fucking guys do it, right?
Oh yeah, the detective Castlebeck, I think was his name, reading the cast list here, but the one who's played by Delroy Lindo. That guy like swings by their garage in a tense moment when they're gonna be, and he realizes they're gonna be out stealing cars tonight because he sees a note on their table that displays all the unit numbers and the radio codes of all the police that will be working tonight in the Los Angeles area.
But this is like one of the classic scenes from this movie. It's actually a repeat. This is in the first Gone in 60 Seconds. Basically, I don't remember the guy's name. In my notes, I have him down as E-Boy. Steals a car that's not on their list, and there's like a big brick of heroin in the trunk. And so they're like looking at this brick of heroin, and some of it gets on the ground. And this is when the detective decides to show up. So they put him in the car, and the heroin is conveniently on the floor, like under the tailpipe. So they're getting him to rev it up so he blows away any evidence that might incriminate them. And it's super fun.
It's pretty cool.
Good scene. Apparently in the original Gone in 60 Seconds, this scene was completely out of place, but they redid it and made it relevant in this movie. So I guess all the better for it.
So yeah, that's a pretty tense moment that I think is actually pretty damn well done. And then we have a moment that I fucking love for some reason, where they're all set to go out, and Cage is like, "Put on Lowrider." And they just sit there and jam out to the song Lowrider for a good, 30 seconds, and then they're like, "Yeah, let's roll." I don't know why. I thought that was fucking hilarious.
There were a lot of very choice songs in this movie, and a lot of very funny clips. Like there's a couple scenes where they're doing hacking or whatever, and I shit you not, that exact same hacking song was in the Yu-Gi-Oh anime. It's just really fucking fun.
Yeah, honestly, the music in this movie is, I think, what is stuck the most in my brain from this movie, because every musical cue that started in this movie, it started to come back to me. I remember every song from this movie better than any other movie for some reason, probably because I saw this so many times on cable growing up. But the music is, while it's not a great soundtrack, is very key to a lot of parts in this movie.
Yeah, there's when they're looking for people to get on this operation, the song "Better Days," "The Bottom Drops Out" by Citizen King plays, which was
shit.
in the middle. Bitch, that's the thing. The band's from Milwaukee, so we have to talk about it.
Are they really? Oh my god, are they really?
I did not know that.
Yeah, they're from Milwaukee, yeah.
Dude, I loved that song so much when I was 10.
That's a fantastic song. I love it.
But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was particularly funny that it was actually in the movie that they stood there and jammed out to Lowrider.
Yeah, well, one of the guys dramatically puts on his hat and starts bobbing his head to it, which I hear that song and I just think of the George Lopez show. It's not badass, it's a fine song, but it's
I definitely, that song, yeah, definitely George Lopez show for sure.
It just seemed weird how hard they were vibing to it.
Yeah. I don't know.
mean,
I
you
think
talked
it was
about
played for humor, and I think it was done well, personally. But
No, it was great. Don't get me wrong.
But you talked about Boomer Car, right? I mean, that's definitely a Boomer song. This is just basically Boomer the movie.
This is a definite dad movie. Like,
For fucking sure, it's a
huge dad movie.
yeah, but a dad movie that I will gladly throw on if I need to.
But yeah, they go out stealing cars, and they steal one assload of cars really quickly. They just kind of breeze by that. And then as Cage is about to steal one of them, he realizes the cops are watching them, and he kind of backs off. And they get followed by the cops in an unmarked van. But he gets the word out to everyone else that they're being watched. And it's specifically like all the Mercedes cars that seem to be being watched by the police right now. So everyone kind of stops and goes back to the garage and regroups. They came up with some plan. I thought it said in the movie that they were going to like steal the cars from a police impound lot. But then, I don't know, they just go out and seem to operate as normal. And it confuses me.
Well, there is a scene at the impound lot where the one dude is dressed up at like a pimp and he's distracting the security guy or whatever.
Oh, yes.
Steal the cars from the impound.
Yeah.
Okay, that is
I
great.
definitely remember that.
Yeah, and that's when
funny.
when he's singing Brick House holding the Barbie there.
He finally starts to lose the guy's attention, and so he slams on the window and starts singing Brick House with a Barbie doll. Also a great scene.
That was great. That legitimately made me laugh out loud. That was good. But yeah, so Cage and them go to steal a Lambo from that...
The sex couple.
Mm-hmm, from the sex couple. So Cage and Jolie are there, and the couple is just fucking right by the window. And then, like, I don't know, they start kind of dirty talking to each other while watching the sex, and then they are almost about to start fucking when the other couple stops fucking, and then they go steal the car and leave.
I feel like that scene had to be influenced by like the screenwriter or whoever is like kink. That was definitely a kink that they had, and they're like, let's just do it in the movie and let's make these actors do it for us, and then he jacks off to it.
Oh yeah, and we get that great line of like when they're dirty talking to each other. Nicolas Cage is like, "Oh, what gets your heart going more, stealing cars or sex?" And then he's like, "Why not both?" They start going at it in this car.
Yeah, why not like that TLC show about people that fall in love with like inanimate objects? Like, yeah, sex with cars. That's how that works.
Yeah, sex with cars, sex in cars. You can tell he's into it all. Also, did you notice that one of the cars that they steal, it's like a quick sequence where they steal it via pretending to be a valet, and the guy they steal it from is Dr. Kelso from Scrubs.
I did see that, yeah.
I noticed that.
That was funny.
He's like, hey, buddy, you want to make it worth your while? And he gives him like 2 fucking quarters or something.
And then he gets in, and the guy's like wife or mistress or whatever is in the car, and he's like, get the fuck out.
Didn't he say something along the lines of like, get the fuck out, you fat bitch, or some shit? Like, he said
something like that. He makes a comment about her ass.
Yeah, he said
like, you fat ass bitch or something. Like,
yeah, he's like, hey, get out of here, you fat fuck. Like, I'm taking the car. And she's like, what? He's like, I'm taking the car, get out. And she just gets out.
Get the fuck out of here. He's just like, yeah, you get out of here, you fat broad. No one wants you in here.
And, I mean, they're rich, so they're used to it.
That valet guy just does an Andrew Dice Clay bit while trying to get her.
Like, this freaking broad comes to me with this car.
So yeah, while they're out stealing more cars, the cops discover their list of cars in the warehouse and plan to stop Cage as he steals that 67 Shelby Mustang because, as I refer to him in my notes, Mr. Detective Man, who is the guy we were talking about before.
Delroy Lindo.
Yeah, Delroy Lindo. He knows that Cage is afraid of that car and will save it for last.
That was a fun scene.
Oh yeah.
How do you know he's gonna save that one for last? Because he's scared of it.
Then we get that scene in the impound lot where Sphinx and Funny Guy, the brick house dancing dude, who's the one always cracking jokes.
Best character in the movie.
Absolutely, yes. But they steal a truck that has the license plate Snake, which ends up actually having a snake in it, like a python or a boa or something.
That's the scene I remember the most from this movie. And for some reason, I had mixed it up in my head, and I thought this was like the first car they steal at the beginning of the movie, because I just remember them playing DMX in a Hummer, and then getting attacked by the snake. Or not attacked, but yeah.
Sounded like somebody just got smoked in the head just there. Is everyone okay?
Sorry, that was my bad. My watch fell off my desk. So
Well, that's the thing. You mentioned DMX, and it's kind of like Candyman, where if you say his name 3 times, DMX shows up and he'll pop you. So
right, exactly.
Yeah. You say his name 3 times, and then all of a sudden, knock, knock, open up the door. It's real. It's the nonstop pop pop of stainless steel.
Stainless steel.
But,
You know, pretty soon your ass is missing. An old man fishing finds you or something. And...
After that, they manage to get away, and it's kind of a cool scene where they like push a cop car off a ramp, and I think I read somewhere that the cop car wasn't meant to fall off of the ramp. That just happened in the stunt work.
Yeah.
But I mean, cool that they captured it. But then, while stealing an Escalade, Cage's brother, who's I don't remember the name of his brother, but and his 2 buddies, or what?
Kip is his brother. Kip Raines. I don't know how, but we haven't mentioned that Nicolas Cage is named Memphis Reigns in this movie.
It's like either the most mid 2000s wrestler or gay porno name. That's the only things that could be.
I was thinking of mid 2000s rapper, but a wrestler would work too.
Well, to be fair, I mean, talk about Roman Reigns. I mean, Memphis Reigns. Do you think Roman Reigns got his name from this movie and just was like, oh, just do a different like city from antiquity, Rome?
Yeah. So, one of Kip's friends gets shot, and he gets taken care of by the other guys. And then the only car that's left is the '67 Mustang. It's Eleanor, and Cage goes out to steal it. He gets in the car, and the cops notice him almost immediately because they're already pulling up on it. And a car chase ensues, and it's a pretty cool car chase. And he managed to get away
I was surprised to see reviews saying that it was a bad car chase, like critic reviews, because I thought it was pretty fucking good.
You know, you want to talk about bad car chases? We'll talk about that in a little bit with the next movie.
Yeah.
Not only is it's a thrilling car chase, but Nicolas Cage did all the driving. So fuck you.
That's true. He literally took years of like stunt driving classes just to do that one scene.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking cool. But so at one point they're going through one of the drainage ditches or like floodgate ditches that's in LA, and he gets away because his car has nitrous injection. Then like the car dies and a cop spots him as he's trying to get it to start, and another chase happens. And this one is super intense with a lot of like tight turns and weaving around moving construction equipment, but Cage makes it through again, and he like jumps the car off a ramp over a traffic jam, and just makes it to the docks where they have to turn in all 50 cars, and he makes it there just 12 minutes late. And even though he got all the cars because he's 12 minutes late, Eccleston is going to kill him instead because I think he just wanted to kill Cage mostly. He's also just pissed that
he could have been 1 minute early. He probably still would have gotten executed.
Yeah. Cage manages to escape the henchmen who are about to kill him, and he goes to kill Eccleston himself. And there's a bit of a chase through like a warehouse or something on like some platforms way high up. And then,
very reminiscent of a Terminator 2 warehouse scene.
I would not honestly be surprised if they filmed this scene in that exact same warehouse. I would not be shocked by that. It's very reminiscent to that.
And then Detective Delroy shows up, and Eccleston goes after him and tries to kill him, but in this distraction, Cage rushes over and manages to kill Eccleston by like knocking him off the platform, and he dies. And then the detective just says, like, you know, you saved my life, and I know you were doing this to save your brother's life, which I don't know how he knows that, but he does. And he lets Cage just walk out. And,
that would not happen because Nick Cage and his cohorts literally stole 50 fucking cars. Like, you're just going to, like, drop an entire, like, mass Grand Theft Auto investigation and several people dead because, like, I don't know, you saved my life, I guess. Like, that's not really how police work works.
Yeah, and they had, like, the entire city's police force mobilized just chasing him in a car, like, less than an hour ago. But this is not GTA, guys. Like, the cops don't fucking, like, stop if you get home and you're able to just, like, chill out for a couple minutes. I mean, he lost all 5 of his stars. Okay? But yeah, immediately after that, Been Caught Stealing by Jane's Addiction plays, which I thought was a cool little touch. Fuck it. Whatever.
Yeah, it was really cool as fuck.
Angelina.
Dave Navarro jumps out of a car and starts sucking everybody's dick.
Angelina.
Well, I think you and I watched two different movies. Wait, there was a lot of blowjobs at the end of this movie?
Yeah, I watched the uncut version, and they called it the uncut version because everybody was uncircumcised.
I was gonna say,
Which
are we
is
talking about
sexy.
uncut version or we're talking about the uncut version? Okay.
No, yeah.
Angelina Jolie gets all up on Cage, like making out with him. Sphinx, the guy who doesn't talk, says something that I think is supposed to be kind of profound, but I didn't really pay attention to what he said.
I didn't either, but it was like, oh, he talks, and I'm like, oh wait, I just missed it. Did he say something smart and then the movie's over? Like,
I think he said, "I'm not a killer, but don't push me. Revenge is like the sweetest joy next to getting pussy."
And then after that, it's Hail Mary, and the movie's over. But, oh, well, no. Cage's brother buys them a 67 Shelby Mustang, just like Eleanor, and they all lived happily ever after.
Yay.
So that's the whole plot. Thoughts, everybody?
this movie was honestly very enjoyable. I honestly didn't really have too much negative to say about it, but I also don't really have a shit ton positive to say about it. It's a very like 5 or 6 out of 10 movie for me, but I know by Nick Cage standards that could easily be a 7 or 8, depending on what episode we're doing, and that could easily be a 7 or 8 recommendation for his standards.
Yeah, certainly not. On anybody's all-time list. There's a lot about it that doesn't make sense. Like if you really want to think about what it would be like to steal 50 cars in a day. But that's the point of the movie. It's dumb and it's fun. And honestly, Nick Cage looks great in this movie. He's like,
he does look better than he has in almost every other movie he's been in. I'll say that.
He looks
downright healthy, to be honest, which is a very rare thing for Nicolas Cage to look like.
Yeah, like his hair's not weird. His face isn't weird. He's like pretty studly for Nicolas Cage. I don't know if he looks sexier than this at any point. So
what I think it was, I think he was able to get his adrenochrome injections like right before they started shooting each scene. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, the timing was really important for this one.
I got a couple of things to say, I guess. One thing I want to say is it's a very colorful movie. There's a lot of deep colored, like neon color grading that I think is cool and actually adds a lot to the aesthetic, and it's pretty well done. A weird thing I think is that Angelina Jolie, I feel like, is very underutilized. Especially considering, like, I don't think she comes cheap usually. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, she's a pretty big actress, and she has.
Talk about coming in 60 seconds. She does not come cheap. Let me tell you.
Yeah, and I mean, she's not in this movie a ton, but they carved out that role specifically for her. So obviously, it was important to them that she be in it for clout or whatever.
What's weird is that she's on the fucking poster, but she's barely in the goddamn movie. And this wasn't like a low budget movie. This was a high budget movie, so it wasn't about not being able to pay her. There was some weird decision for that. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Also, the movie did legitimately make me laugh out loud a few times, which, like, cool. It's pretty rare that actually happens to me anymore. But the brick house Barbie doll thing did make me crack up. I don't know why. And
there's a great cast, and they all play their parts really well.
Yeah, the cast is way better than a movie like this would probably deserve, to be honest. I mean, it's got fucking Robert Duvall in it. I don't even think we talked about him much.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we didn't. But yeah, I think all around this is a really solid movie. And that's, means a little bit more saying for me, or coming from me, I think, because I'm not really a car person. This movie's all about cars. I'm not really that much of an action movie person either. But I really did like this movie quite a bit, so...
That's the thing, though, is that this movie's not really a super big car nerd movie. Like, they're not like, oh, this is where the year and model, and like, it's just a movie about stealing a bunch of cars, and they talk about maybe 1 or 2 cool ones in it. So if you're alienated by that kind of shit, it's really not that bad. So
yeah, like the car talk isn't intense. If anything, it's mostly just like the people in the movie and the audience being like, well, that's a cool looking fucking car, dude.
You'd be like, oh, bro, that car's fucking badass. And then they just like, swirl the beers around a little bit with their mullet, listening to fucking Kid Rock, Ba Wada Ba,
Exactly.
It's what you did back in the year 2000.
But yeah, all around, I think a really solid movie. I actually like this quite a bit. Maybe it's that, like, over the course of doing this podcast, the majority of movies that I have watched have starred Nicolas Cage and have been really bad. But when we find a good one on this podcast, I have a good goddamn time, and I like to talk about it.
It's genuinely rare early on, especially in this bracket, where you get not only a big budget Nicolas Cage movie with good actors, but also just a downright enjoyable film. Like,
Yeah.
that's not a very common thing for the early bracket of Cage.
Yeah, it definitely isn't very common at all. I think I could count maybe on one hand the amount of times that's happened this far. So
Yeah, I felt like this was the first time that I was like genuinely excited to sit down and watch this movie because I hadn't seen it since I was probably like 13, and it was a good fucking time.
yeah, and I do think it's pretty cool that they did all the stunt work, with actual stunt drivers driving cars. It's not CGI or anything, like, I don't know. And fucking Nick Cage doing his own stunt work, I think that's badass. Go for it.
He's great in it.
Decent flick. Certainly a good popcorn movie, and you should check it out.
Would you like to hear my notes?
Yes, I would.
I tried to focus really hard and actually take really good notes this time, so hopefully you guys like them.
Okay.
All right, your job depends on it, so.
All right. Brad Pitt has a swordfish in a Janet Jackson music video. Mike's dad was really horny and 9/11 predicted ominous shit. Shrek is played by Brad Pitt during the terror attacks, and that makes a lot of sense now. The last bit of joy we had in this country was Halle Berry stripping away. Gay Giuliani, Touchstone Productions, gross. Gay Giuliani in the black. Bill Goldberg as High Fidelity, and Kangaroo, oh shit, it looks like the world is ending outside, and that is troubling. Someone is having sex with a car in the movie, I think, but I'm not paying attention because I think a tree is going to come through the window. B is for build a wall or something, and I guess Eleanor is like 73, and they're talking about Steve McQueen now. I don't know, I got a learning disability, and now they expect me to pay attention to all this stuff they're saying. Kobe Bryant makes a cameo in the Camaro that he hacks into the mainframe in. Rest in peace, Kobe, we miss you. Kobe is targeting women, though, which is pretty bad, especially considering his history in Colorado. Kobe is being hounded by some detectives and a hitman that no one remembers, and Kobe is on thin ice. Also, he is slipping. Why is he back in town? To see the Lakers and his teammate Shaq face off with Aaron Carter. Eventually, they start listening to Flo Rida, and everyone likes that. Now someone is having sex with a car. Now DMX is knocking on the door with Eleanor, the 73-year-old lady from earlier. Angelina Jolie asserts that Dave Navarro sucks dick, and Shaq calls that bullying. Everything winds up being alright, mostly.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I don't remember all the basketball players being in this movie, but
that's you might not know, Jess, is that this movie was inspired by Space Jam.
Oh, okay.
And that's where all the basketball players in the movie came from. There's a lot of basketball player cameos. I just don't know if you didn't notice it because you weren't paying attention, but
Oh yeah. Well, I'm glad that Dave was able to catch up on it through my summary, which omitted it. It's quite amazing.
Let me know.
Well, I think the part about Gay Giuliani in the black was pretty good.
Yeah. So solid summary. And
Solid.
then I think Mike's gonna go through his Amazon reviews then.
So I got some Amazon reviews here. Some people who are happy, some people who are not so happy, some people who may fear they've wasted their money. So first one is from Hassan Abdeen. His review is titled "Only for Classic Cars Fans." And he writes, the trailer gives much more credit to the movie than it deserves, and for great actors such as Nicolas Cage and Angelina Jolie, the movie should have been much better than this. So what makes this movie not as good as it should? 1. Lack of ongoing action until the last quarter of the movie. 2. Lack of modern, expensive, fast cars. 3. Lack of Cars action except for one classic at the end. 4. The jump of 1967 Shelby GT500 Mustang was an insult to audience intelligence. 5. Nice story, but not well covered. Do not expect too much of this film. So I hope that jump didn't fool you guys, because that was an insult to our intelligence.
Oh yeah.
Definitely
It was
couldn't have
fairly
happened.
insulting. Nope. Can't jump a car.
Got a review from Crackles McFarley. His review is titled "Battery Acid to the Eyes. Could not start laughing. Hype, not funny. These people were made millionaires overnight for a boring, hyped, unfunny, vomit-inducing movie with gags seen in movies like Police Academy 1 through 99. I guess people high on DMX or pot might laugh, but those are lost people anyway and probably should volunteer for wood chipper testing anyway."
Okay. So high on DMX. Jess, are you high on DMX?
Oh, I'm high on DMX every day. X gives it to me. That's all I'm saying. But
Hey, you're a lost person and are suited for a wood chipper.
but with the name though, Crackles McFarley, I can't help but feel this was a joke review. I don't.
I'm sorry. Just Crackles McFarley just can fucking cracks me up.
Yeah.
So bad. It's so fucking funny.
I have a review from Kenneth Anderson, who he titled it "Wretched," and he writes, "Only Hollywood could make a film this bad, completely as worthless as a hangover without proceeding drunk."
Without proceeding drunk.
That is the most Slavic review I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah.
This movie is terrible. It's like proceeding hangover without what was it? that was wild.
PFV writes, 0 star. What a dumb movie. This is what passes for comedy. And there are 2 more after this one. Terrible, not funny, and not entertaining.
Wait, what?
Terrible and a ripoff. I paid $3.99 for this, but you couldn't pay me enough to watch the next 2. I give it 0 star.
Are there
Gone. Yeah, there's Gone in 60 Seconds sequels.
That there's not, but I think you'll understand with these next few reviews what they're talking about.
Okay.
Barbara writes, slapstick at its worst.
What?
Barbara says, "A baby was used and abused. The whole premise was ridiculous, demeaning of white privileged males, and poorly acted. We stopped watching out of boredom and disgust when the perps left Las Vegas. I resent paying $3.99 to watch such claptrap." And so the final review, I think, will be the last piece to the puzzle. Joel Wink writes 5 out of 5 stars. "Insanity as the wolf pack is let loose on Vegas. When The Hangover was released in 2009, it was by far the funniest movie of the year. I have watched it again and again since then and still gets a laugh. The movie is a hilarious take on the buddy film starring Bradley Cooper as Phil, Zach Galifianakis as Alan, and Ed Helms as Stu. They go on a bachelor party for their friend Doug in Las Vegas. As Phil says at the start of the movie, things got out of control and they lost Doug. The Hangover then recounts their crazed day of partying."
Wait, so they just posted the Hangover reviews for this movie? So
So I went through a bunch of reviews for this movie, and 98% of them were reviews for The Hangover. There were a few that were definitely about this movie, but it took me a while to catch on that all of those except for the first one were about The Hangover.
What the fuck?
So,
how did that happen? What the fuck?
Seriously.
I don't know how that happens, but if you purchased Gone in 60 Seconds and got The Hangover or vice versa, I would go to your preferred internet browser and type in https:/amazon.com/support for more information.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
Okay, so just quick, Mike, were there any reviews that complained about the quality of the DVD that was shipped to them?
There was actually a lot. I did decide to skip over those ones this time, but there was a lot of people who, actually on this one in particular, people said that they didn't buy this movie, but they somebody either hacked into their account and bought this movie, or they just got sent and charged for this movie. So I don't know what that was about, but yeah, a lot of people
I
who
love
said
the
that
people who put that in reviews and don't contact fucking customer service, which is literally their job. Like
there's a certain gray area on Amazon where you don't know if you're reviewing the product itself or the Amazon experience of receiving that product. So there's a little bit of both.
Okay. Oh, that yes, I get that. Okay. Well, I guess I think that's all we have to say about Gone in 60 Seconds here. I think we're gonna take a short little break, and then we'll come back with the movie
Not
Rage.
Robert.
So we'll see you in a minute. Well, we're back, everybody, and now we're gonna move on to Rage.
I'm sorry, Jess, before we go. Despite all my rage, I'm still Nicolas Cage.
It's true. When I looked this up on Amazon Prime, because that's where I watched it, a Rage Against the Machine live show came up, and I almost watched that instead, but but this is my job.
You know, Jess, I will say you would have had a much better time. I'm not fucking around.
Yeah, it's true. But so Rage came out in 2014. This was not rated by the MPAA. It was directed by Paco Cabezas, which kind of sounds like a made-up director.
Okay, so is it Cabeza? Isn't that Spanish for like head or something?
Yes,
Yeah.
his name is Paco Heads. But
That's the thing. Paco gives good heads. Let me tell you, I could definitely.
Yeah, one of the trivia facts on his IMDb page is that he definitely exists.
well, he made the movie Mr. Right in 2015, which featured Sam Rockwell, Anna Kendrick, and Tim Roth, and RZA.
Oh
Okay.
boy. RZA versus Master P. Who is the better performer?
Well, RZA's not in this movie. And he also made The Appeared. Which
Yeah, he's mostly a TV director. He's been on he worked on American Gods, Penny Dreadful, Fear the Walking Dead, and The Strain.
Oh, okay. So he does a lot of Golden Age TV shit. But
Yeah, which is very apparent in this movie.
But yeah, this was produced by Patriot Pictures, Hannibal Classics, and Saturn Films, Cage's production company, which we generally before this were only seeing in movies made around like 07 to 09. So it's interesting to see it back in action here, 5 years
this might
down the
be
line.
the tail end of the Saturn Films pantheon.
Mm-hmm. Runtime of 99 minutes and a budget of $25 million. Box office gross was not listed anywhere, which by default means it goes in the red as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I was gonna say if the box office is not listed, that means this movie made no money.
Yes. So that is 10 out of 36 movies, a whopping 28%, I believe, of movies so far. And coincidentally, the Rotten Tomatoes rating from the audience also 28% on this one, 12% from critics.
No, I'm sorry. Rage is I think it was 12% actually.
Oh, that was the critics one. The audience one was 28%. But yes.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty much all the facts I have. Mike, you got any trivia?
The only real trivia that I have about this movie is something that kept popping in my head after watching these movies back to back last night, and is extremely relevant to this particular episode. The Mustang that Nicolas Cage drives is the same paint scheme, gunmetal gray with black racing stripes, as Eleanor from Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah.
You know, I did notice that when they were driving. I'm like, that car looks really. Oh.
Both Mustangs with the same color scheme. And we're going to pretend that it was completely intentional that these two movies got matched up together.
Yeah, because it was.
It was. We knew that before this.
That's the thing about Cage Fight. We do everything extremely intentionally on this show.
Yeah, there are no false moves.
None.
Everything is meticulously, like, we're Jigsaw from the Saw movies level meticulous with our planning here. Nothing goes wrong.
We should be committed.
So, getting into the plot summary then. So it opens on Cage's stoic, unmoving eyes as he stares at a door, and a shotgun slowly pushes the door open, and we see the title card, Rage. This was maybe a 15-second long cold open, which right off the bat feels really weird. I don't know that I've ever seen a cold open that short before, but
Yeah, it was a real shock to the system.
So then we see Cage picking up his daughter Caitlin from high school. It's kind of like a montage of his life. He's breaking ground on some project because I think he owns a construction company. That's what I gathered.
Something like that.
Yeah, he's working with the mayor personally on this construction project. He is apparently like married to a woman who is not his daughter's mother, but her stepmother. And yeah, I don't know.
And also, just like every other Cage movie that came out around this time, she is much younger and more attractive than he deserves to be with.
Yeah.
But we're willing to ignore that for the sake of the plot.
Yeah, that's the thing in this movie is that, and I don't want to spoil it too much, he's also incredibly nice to her all the time. Very respectful.
Oh, yes, completely. You can see why this woman who is both out of his league and like way younger than him wants to stick around with him because of how wonderfully he treats her. But Cage's daughter Caitlin is having some friends over, 2 boys, and one of them is named Michael. I don't remember the other's name. Cage is about to leave with his wife to go to some business meeting, and he pulls Michael aside and goes like hardcore boomer dad on him. You know, the one who's like, if you're taking out my daughter, expect to see yourself at shotgun point. Yeah. You know, that type of shit.
Listen, rule number 1 for taking out my daughter: you kiss her and I kiss you.
And this is right after a scene where Nicolas Cage expresses interest in this particular guy because he has a job. It's like, oh, he's a hard-working youngster. So he basically gives this kid permission to bang his daughter. So
listen, you exploit yourself for the capitalist system, you get some fucking pussy.
Oh yeah.
And in this house, my daughter is my property.
But yeah, so at the business meeting that Cage is at with his wife, Detective Danny Glover comes in, which
that was really weird seeing I'm like, Danny Glover, come on, dude, don't tell me you stooped that low, dude.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I know he could do better than this, you know?
Oh, and Danny Glover is so cool in real life, but he always puts himself in these shit roles all the time.
But yeah, Detective Danny Glover comes in to tell Cage that some people broke into his house and kidnapped his daughter.
Not to digress too much, Jess, but I do have an idea on why Danny Glover might be in these movies, because back in 2004, he also had a breakout role after his initial fame in the first Saw movie.
Yeah.
So maybe he thinks that it'll strike gold by being in this also, I'm sure, legendary film.
But yeah, we gather from the conversation with Danny Glover and Cage that they've kind of had a history together. Like Danny Glover has watched Cage because Cage has some sort of criminal past that he's 15 years out of the game of, you know.
He's Memphis Reigns from Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah. Oh, and I was literally going to say, why do both these movies not only have basically the same car, but also like black detectives who follow Nick Cage around all the time?
Yeah.
Because he has a history.
Yeah, because Nicolas Cage has a history and has gotten out of the game since then. But
truly uncanny.
Yeah, like, why are these movies so related? You know, honestly, do you think that this movie is a sequel to Gone in 60 Seconds?
It really feels like it at certain moments.
Yeah. But so Michael apparently talked to the police and told them what happened to them, which is like 3 guys broke in a home invasion, dragged away Caitlin, Cage's daughter, and kidnapped her.
They stole his daughter.
Yeah, they stole his daughter. And they didn't leave any ransom demands or anything. They just left. And I put this in my notes. And if you don't believe me, I'll bring out my roommate Eric that I watched this movie with, and he'll verify this. But I called it right here. Michael is definitely the perpetrator in this. I wrote it down.
I did too. I thought the same thing. the fucking first minute of this movie.
Honestly, I would have too if I didn't start watching this movie at 1 o'clock in the fucking morning after being awake for 17 hours. I probably would have figured that out.
Yeah, which spoilers for the plot, but you're gonna hear it summed up pretty quickly. But
You know, I will say
There's a
just
twist.
don't bother. This movie's not fucking worth watching in the first place.
It's free on Prime, so if you're drunk, go for it.
Danny Glover says they'll find her and they're working on it, and Cage needs to let them handle it and not do it himself. So Cage hears this and immediately goes to his friend's place. First he swings by Michael's place and he gets kind of racist in a story where he tells Mike about how he broke a guy's legs with a tire iron.
I'm sorry, Jess. So I actually have the quote that he talks to Michael with in the bedroom. Are you ready for this?
Yes, I'm ready.
The line just drove me crazy. So he's like, listen, I was on the beach. It was this Puerto Rican looking shit walks down the beach and calls Mary, his wife, a slut. Can you believe that shit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he gets even more racist after that too. Well, not more, but just added extra racism.
Yeah, it's like, did he look Puerto Rican? Did he look Mexican? Did he smell bad? And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. God, well, I mean, it's a movie for boomer dads who are like talking about their kids' boyfriends with a shotgun, or talking to their...
Yeah, and speaking as someone who is against legal and illegal immigration, he's not in the wrong here.
And I have to say, this ends up being somewhat of a theme as things go on, but he grills Michael for information, and Michael just breaks down and cries and says, I don't know what's happening, and Cage says, like, if anything happens to my daughter, I'm holding you personally responsible. So then he meets up with some old friends and asks them to look into his daughter and offers him like $200,000. And they say, we're family. We'll do this for free. This is great.
Also, by the way, if you didn't pinpoint that, they're supposed to be in the Irish Mafia.
Oh, I did not know that.
The very well-known Irish Mafia in Mobile, Alabama. That's where this movie is.
Yes, and not only is the Irish Mafia prominent in Alabama, they are at war with the Russian Mafia in Mobile, Alabama.
Russian Mafia on the Gulf Coast of Alabama. What?
I don't understand why there's so much organized crime activity in Mobile.
By the way, none of them have Alabama accents. Like, what is going on? Nobody has a accent in this fucking movie. It's weird.
I mean, honestly, props to Cage for not attempting the accent.
Well, he has attempted some Southern dialects, and we all know they're very good.
Oh,
That's
yes.
True.
So yeah, after that, they go question some guy named Oliver, a black guy, and they threaten to murder a girl that that's hanging with him. God.
Oh no, just they don't threaten to. They almost do.
Oh yeah, they almost do by like tying a noose around her neck and tying it to a cinder block and throwing it out a window. And then like,
yeah, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what is this movie already? It's fucking nuts.
That was insane.
Yeah. That was right off the bat too, and the guy legitimately didn't know anything. So,
he didn't know anything, and they save her by shooting the rope. And as they walk away, the guy's like, "Oh, how'd you know you were gonna hit the rope?" And he's like, "I didn't think I was going to."
Yeah, like, what the fuck? This is the most haphazard fucking attempted murder operation of all time. And what's even more fucked up about it is like this girl's just like droning out probably after like shooting up some fucking heroin, and then next thing she knows, she's getting fucking like hung from a rope from a cinder block outside of a fucking warehouse. It's just like horrifying shit. And by the way, this is all within the first fucking act of the movie. Like we're just talking about the first fucking act.
Realistically, she would not have survived this.
No, not at all. That would have just snapped her neck.
Yeah.
That could have easily just snapped her neck. And she's a pretty tiny, scrawny girl. That could have easily just snapped her fucking neck.
They're just dangling her out of a window.
Yeah.
But so immediately after that, and they realize the guy doesn't have info, they go to Cage and say there's no information out there. So that was their one lead, was this guy that they decided to threaten that way.
Just like some random homeless black guy and his druggy girlfriend. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, why would this guy know? We never see him or hear from him again. And
it was definitely like people who are affiliated with the Irish Mafia in Mobile, Alabama, a homeless black man and his druggy like girlfriend in a fucking random warehouse somewhere.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they refuse to believe that he doesn't have any information until he admits that he loves her.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
It's so fucking weird. Yeah.
That whole thing made no sense. I was so confused during that. And of course, like I said, this was like 1:30 in the morning. So I'm watching this. I'm like, wait, did I just watch what I thought I fucking watched?
Yeah. And then very shortly after that, Caitlin is found dead under a bridge with a gunshot wound to the head. It was apparently a round from a Tokarev pistol, which was the standard issue pistol for the Soviet Union in World War II.
Tokarev, also what this movie was titled in Europe.
Yeah. Oh, wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Which I do want to say, they act like this could only belong to the Russian mafia throughout, which we see. I won't spoil things, but my immediate thought was like Tokarevs are like, there were like millions of those produced. They're really easy to get a hold of. I almost personally bought one. But
yeah, but in the logic of the movie, it physically cannot belong to anybody else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I was gonna say there's not probably a whole lot of Russian, mob guys with Tokarevs running in most of Alabama except for Mobile, so it had to be right there.
But so after that, at Caitlin's funeral, Peter Stormare shows up in a wheelchair.
And that fucked me up because I'm just like, wait, this is the second episode, and this is the second movie I've seen with Peter Stormare in it.
Yeah.
I think this is actually the third episode in a row with a Peter Stormare appearance.
It is. Yes, that's 3 Peter Stormare movies in a fucking row. It's insane.
Honestly, he played my favorite Peter Stormare character I've had so far in the 2 episodes I've been on, a disabled Irishman who has a Swedish accent.
He was incredible in this movie. Yeah. He shows up at the funeral and he's talking to Nick Cage about his past life, situation. And he's in a wheelchair and he says, "That's the one thing I miss the most, staring down a man, threatening him."
Yeah, being able to stand above him while you stare him down. But
yeah, just like he goes off on this monologue about the things that he misses from being able to stand.
And that's the thing, right? Is that like he's supposed to have an Irish accent, right? Or am I just wrong on that? Or is he just doesn't know how to do an accent?
I don't know. He's just talking in an accent that is really undefinable because it's not his typical accent. But
he has some like one every 10 words. He has like an Irish inflection on one of those words. So I think they were trying to go for an Irish accent for him.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were trying to go for with this fucking role. Like, what the fuck?
But Stormare basically says to Cage, like, hey, just let the cops handle it. Don't ruin our good situation we got going right now. We don't need to do anything with this. And so after that, we get a flashback to what I think is supposed to be a young Cage and those 2 guys he talked to.
Yeah.
Blowing up a car.
So I remember it is supposed to be a flashback of them because they go to that flashback several times in the movie, but none of them look like Nick. Like one of them looks like maybe a fat version of Nick Cage's like bastard son. And I'm like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah. When that happened, I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know it was a flashback. I thought it was happening in the moment. And I didn't know who any of these people were. And I was like, why am I watching this?
Did another movie get interspliced? Like what?
Yeah. So because of the round being from a Tokarev, it appears that's like some Russian dudes are the ones that killed him. So Cage rounds up a posse of his friends to go do some murders of the Russian mafia. Before he even goes out to go do his murders, I think he becomes a huge asshole to his partner, his wife, and doesn't say this in any nice way or anything. He's just like, get the fuck out of here. It's for your own safety. We never see him like build up to this, never being like, please, I need you to like leave. It's for your own safety or anything. He's just immediately turned up to 11 with the rage of the title.
Well, that's the thing. It's very hair trigger. And then he's like, well, what does he say to her? Like, you said by any means necessary, and I meant it. And then he like takes her by the neck and slams her neck up against the fucking wall, and they start making out. Like,
yeah.
Just weird shit, like some weird like rape culture shit going on.
Yeah, it's really fucking weird and rapey. He puts his hand around her throat and says like, I'm a killer. Does that turn you on? Is that why you're staying?
Yeah.
And then they kiss, and afterwards she cries, and it's just like, oh god, I don't know. It's bad. But I don't know. Maybe it'll appeal to the boomer dads. Who knows?
I mean, this movie is boomer dad like 100% for goddamn sure.
Absolutely.
This is our. It's a little bit late, but it's our official Father's Day episode podcast.
I mean, I will say any white dude over the age of 50 that watches this movie, it'll be their favorite film of all time. It really will.
So they go to like a Russian run strip club where they see a guy with a neck tat, and Cage recognizes this as the guy that they had killed in that flashback, or not killed, but like, you know, they blew up his car and stole his money in that flashback. And so then like the guy gets shot by one of Cage's two guys. I think they're named like Kane and Danny or something.
Kane and Danny, yeah.
I think Danny shoots him, and Cage chases him up onto a rooftop, and basically like as the guy's dying, Cage is like, "No, don't you die!" as he beats his head on the concrete. And he starts.
He's like, "Don't you die on me!" He literally takes his head and slamming it.
He bashes this guy's skull into the ground like 10 times. Then he gets up and shoots him and starts kicking him.
Yeah. While literally screaming, "Don't die," while slamming his head.
And I would like to say too, like before that, the Russian guy gives like a monologue. Cage is like, "I know you. I know your tattoo. I've like 19 years ago, I roughed you up and I blew up your car and I stole your boss's money." And the guy's like, "Oh yeah, because of you, they cut these 2 fingers off of me," and holds up his hand that's missing 2 fingers. And then I just find this kind of a crazy situation here, because in the grand scheme of things, this guy had nothing to do with anything. Cage just ruined this guy's life 2 decades ago and then just shows up again and fucking kills him.
That had to be really confusing for that guy. He's like, "Wait, why now? Please, I just got over it. Why are you telling me not to die while killing me?"
But they go, then after that, they go and shoot up some like drug house. The first guy they kill is this black guy that walks up, and it's at this point that I note that I swear every guy they rough up or kill is either black or foreign.
No, absolutely. That's 100% correct.
This movie was absolutely made by, like, this Paco Cabeza guy is 100% a Nazi. There's no way this guy's not a fucking Nazi.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, fucking murder all the. I mean,
his name is Paco Cabeza because he's a Nazi that fled to South America after World War II.
This movie was the precursor to that like Death Wish remake where Bruce Willis just kills black people that came out like a year or 2 ago.
Oh, I didn't even see that one, but
I didn't see it either because the trailer alone was fucking offensive.
Yeah, no, and also it was directed by Eli Roth, so that should give you another.
Eli Roth, an actual Nazi. So.
Yeah, Eli Roth's not great.
Oh shit, I didn't really know anything about Eli Roth. I just known him as the Bear Jew and the guy who made
no, his personal politics are very, very terrible. They're not great.
Oh, okay. Lovely.
Very anti-SJW edgelord type guy. He also married like a woman who was like 20 when he was like in his mid-30s. He's a weird fucking dude.
So after that, we see the Russian mob boss lamenting how people nowadays shoot first instead of beating the shit out of each other like they used to in the old days. And he says, "How am I even supposed to know what these men want?" Which, yeah, I can sympathize there, because they just been going around killing a bunch of Russian dudes mindlessly. and I don't even know exactly what they want. But, so
they want justice.
Yeah,
justice.
Street justice. Some Russian mobsters roll up on Kane, one of Cage's guys, and then just beat his ass and capture him. Cage chases after them in a car chase that is just fucking reckless and destroys so much shit around town.
And that's the thing, we talked about good like car chase scenes. I mean, that was better than Gone in 60 Seconds, let's be honest, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, it was so
good.
So
much better than Gone in 60 Seconds. You could tell that they choreographed that scene very well and did more than one take. You could clearly
There's no way that I've already forgotten it completely.
But then in the middle of this, the cops manage to stop him and like they're cuffing him. But then Danny Glover is like, "Hey, just stop, will you?" And releases him. And it's like literally just like Danny Glover knows for sure this guy has murdered a bunch of Russian mobsters at this point. he knows that he was just driving around town and like crashed into like 20 different cars and caused like tons of just damage to public property and private property, and just horrible, reckless endangerment of people. And the cops, they just let him go.
Very, very lenient cops in this movie.
Yes.
In like both movies. It's very strange.
And you know, like, I'm not in support of police like arresting people generally or anything like that, but I gotta say, in this particular instance, he is being a horrendous public nuisance and should probably be taken in. Like, so after this, like, we see that bad Russian mobster man, is torturing Kane now, basically. And then, like, gets it out of him. And it's like, we're doing this because you killed Caitlin. And then Bad Russian Man is like, I didn't do that. But he also finds out in this that they killed his brother many years ago in that scheme thing. And then he gets real mad and basically murders Kane. So then after that, Cage starts goes to the other guy, Danny's place, and says, like, you're a rat. You're a traitor. Blah, blah, blah. I don't even remember how all this began exactly. But... and then,
this sequence was kind of confusing.
Yeah, and in the middle of it all, like, Danny's like saying something, and Cage goes, "You talked," and then stabs him, and Danny dies. And Cage is just immediately.
Danny boy, the pipes are calling.
He is full blown rage at this point. Like he doesn't just stab him; he rips his insides out.
Oh yeah, but Cage is immediately regretful of this. It seems like, but then Bad Russian Man kills Peter Stormare. After Stormare refuses to take responsibility for having killed Bad Russian Man's brother all those years ago.
Also, I want to say the Bad Russian guy, Chernov is his name.
Yeah.
I don't. If you don't remember what he looks like, look him up. But look at that guy's face and tell me that he's not Russian Tim Allen. He is fucking Ruski Tim the Toolman Taylor. I'm telling you, dude. Like,
yeah, I definitely see it. He is Russian Tim Allen. Oh my god, that was great.
There's a scene where he's like, "Hey, after this, I'm going jungle to jungle."
I'm looking it up right now. That is definitely Dollar General version of.
Yeah. So yeah, for the listener, if you want to Google this, it's his name is Pasha Lichnikov. Look him up. You'll see Russian Tim Allen.
He looks like Tim Allen if you left him out in the sun a little too long.
If Tim Allen and Vladimir Putin's semen congealed inside a test tube and created a child, it would be Chernov.
Oh yeah. Also, I gotta say, there's a scene where he takes off his shirt. Dude has amazing skin. Like, I want to know his skincare routine. He's on top of it.
Yeah, he's not looking too bad. I mean, in the face, maybe he could use more cream.
So he looks like a face graft to somebody who had burns a long time ago. He looks like one of those face grafts on a person. It's not great. His face is bad.
Face is bad. Back, all right. It's got a big old tattoo on it. So after this, Cage is like in his house thinking, and then he goes through his safe with his guns in it, and he sees a Tokarev pistol in there, and then realizes, like, oh shit, it's Michael. And then I was like, yep, called it. And wouldn't you know, he goes and like threatens Michael with the Tokarev pistol, holds him at gunpoint, and like he's yelling at him, and Michael's like, I'm sorry, we didn't, it was an accident, like we were talking about how you were,
So he literally was like, no, we just thought the guns looked cool and it accidentally shot. I'm sorry, dude. Like, shit, that sucks. I'm sorry.
Multiple times, like, I just thought it was cool, man.
Yeah, he's just yelling about how cool the guns were and how he'd never held a gun before. And Cage, apparently Cage's daughter showed them the guns, and then he accidentally shot Cage's daughter in the head. So then they trashed the house to make it seem like a home invasion.
Yeah, and I will say that I did not see this twist coming because it's just like I said, I watched this movie at like literally 1:30 in the morning. But I was not expecting that twist, and the twist really pissed me off, I'll be honest. So you just murdered like 20 people just because like some shithead guy that you were already cool with accidentally killed your daughter, and you're just like afterwards you're like, oh shit, well, fuck, I'm sorry, dude, that sucks shit. I'm gonna let you live too. Like what?
Yeah. Yeah, and
The
he
tone-
walks away and lets Michael live.
The tone of this movie is all over the fucking place. It makes no sense.
It is very tonally all over the place. After that, he calls his wife to apologize to her for how shitty he's been, and then the Russians come into his house and kill him, and it's the first scene of the movie where I talked about that 15-second cold open.
That's another thing, another like trend that has happened in movies that I hate is like doing the cold open and it's just the ending.
Yep. Yeah,
Like,
that is a
what's
trend that's been going on for quite some time, and it is pretty fucking annoying. But
I hate the fuck out of it. And then also, well, it's not. There is a post-credit sequence where you see his body being wheeled out, and his wife looks at the body as she looks in horror and starts crying. So.
oh
Yeah, the movie cuts to black for a second, like after he gets blasted away, and it easily could have ended there, but for some reason there's like a breath, and then it comes back, and it's like the paramedics and the police entering his house and
while the
carrying him out
credits,
of the body bag.
yeah,
You
while the
wanna know
credits are rolling, it's that happening. But sorry, what?
I
Yeah,
don't know why they did that. I think they did that for like, and no one's gonna want a sequel for this movie, but just the idea of just killing a possible sequel for this pile of shit.
You know what it reminded me of actually was you guys seen Night of the Living Dead?
But yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the credit sequence of Night of the Living Dead. It reminded me of that.
When they put all the bodies on the pyre, right?
Yeah, and like it's showing like the roundup of everything afterwards while the credits are rolling, and I do kind of like that. I think that's kind of neato, but like it was weird to have it in this movie too.
Yeah, this movie did not need that for sure.
yeah, I'm not opposed to it as a concept, but in this movie, it was strange and unnecessary, probably.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the end of the movie. Thoughts, everybody?
This movie was a massive pile of shit, and I really hated it. I didn't even enjoy it, and it's so bad it's good. Like there were some funny Nick Cage lines, like him being just weirdly racist for like a minute or two when he's talking to Michael in his bedroom. And of course, just Peter Stormare's always amazing performances. But other than that, this movie was pretty unwatchable, and I would not recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, in between racist rants, we get a couple good Cage freakouts, which we have been in a drought of, I guess. But I don't think anybody could recommend this movie and sleep at night. So.
And even then, there are some good Nick Cage freakouts, but they're so far and few between. They're not very common.
Not worth the 99-minute runtime of this movie.
And they last for like 10 seconds max when they happen.
Yeah.
Honestly, the best one is like, you talk. That's probably the best one. That lasts like, 10, 15 seconds.
But I was going to say a lot of the camera work in the action scenes too is pretty bad. Something about it just looks strange. Like it looked like it was shot at a different frame rate from the rest of the movie.
It did. There was weird
it
lighting.
definitely made sense to me that this director is a TV director, because it did feel like an extended episode of CSI or something like tone.
Yeah, there was a lot of TV choreography with this movie for sure.
Definitely.
Honestly, you said Jess, this budget was $25 million.
Yes, I don't know where all this fucking money went. Probably all of the shitty car chase.
Probably gave Nick Cage $24.5 million of that fucking budget. Yeah. Like seriously,
I think he.
What did Danny Glover get out of this? I feel like.
Yeah, I'm guessing almost all the money went to Danny Glover, Nicolas Cage, and Peter Stormare.
I've seen movies that have cost $1 million or $2 million, even less than that look 1,000,000 times better than this movie.
And honestly, I feel like Danny Glover probably like owed somebody a favor, and that's how he ended up in this, because I don't see him like fitting into the budget, and I just don't understand his presence in this movie.
He phoned it in really bad. And he played a very similar role once again in the Saw movie, in the first Saw movie, but even then he phoned it in even by like late Danny Glover performance standards. It's a pretty bad performance on him.
And I do have to say, towards the end, it seemed like it was trying to say, like, yeah, you've been rooting for Cage, but, like, look how stupid his actions are. And it seemed to be, like, trying to pitch this message about, like, ending the cycle of violence and owning up to your actions. But it really didn't do any of the work to make that message work.
And that's that's the thing is that, and that's a common criticism of like anti-war movies, for example. Like, you made war look cool. You made the idea of getting vengeance for your dead daughter look cool.
Uh-huh.
So
Or they tried to. They didn't do it very well, but they tried.
The thematic heel turn at the end where they're just like, oh no, violence and vengeance is bad actually, and it ruins like everything about like, your future and your life. And it's like, well, I mean, you could have shown that in a way that wasn't glorifying the violence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe the lesson is don't keep a loaded gun in an unlocked case when you have kids.
Yeah, no, kind of stupid. Not a great idea in this stage.
Not to get ahead of my reviews here, but there was a lot of reviews that I saw that were like, I really liked this movie until it got political. And like, I didn't get that at all from this movie. And I feel like even if you're going to interpret the message of this movie as a political statement, like, it was so poorly made that I don't understand how you could be offended by it. Like,
yeah, I honestly don't even understand what this movie could have even had as a political message. This movie's pretty just
I think
real world politics almost.
I think when like right wingers see somebody like die accidentally by a gunshot in a movie, they assume it is a commentary on their guns. And I mean, and even if it is, like, maybe it is, it's not a good one. And also, like, I feel like it's a bit of a reach to make that conclusion from this movie, where Nicolas Cage murdered a bunch of minorities.
Yeah, it's looking to be it's looking to be offended by something. And yeah, especially Nicolas Cage's constant murder of various minorities. And like his fucking, I don't know. It's I don't understand how a person could view this as having some sort of political message. I mean, the message is mostly like, stop chasing vengeance, and it doesn't even give that well.
Yeah, it does that very poorly.
Yeah, if anything, Liam Neeson should be offended by the commentary on his performance in Taken or something. I don't know.
But Dave, you got a summary?
Oh, do I?
Hell yeah.
Oh boy.
On September 7th, 2000, Rage attended the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards and performed Testify. After the Best Rock Video Award was given to Limp Bizkit, however, Cage climbed onto the scaffolding of the set. Cage and his bodyguard were sentenced to a night in jail, and the Russian Tim the Toolman guy reportedly left the award after the stunt. Tim the Toolman recalled that Cage relayed his plan to the rest of Rage before the show, and both Tim the Toolman and fucking the other guy in the movie advised him against it immediately after Bizkit was presented the award. On October 18, 2000, Cage released a statement announcing his departure from Rage. He said, "I feel it is now necessary to leave Rage because our decision-making process has completely failed. It is no longer meeting the aspirations of all four of us collectively as Rage, and from my perspective has undermined our artistic and political ideal." Just a side note, for you saying this was not a political movie, I don't know where you get that. There was so much squabbling over everything, explained Russian Tim the Toolman. And I mean everything. We would have fistfights over whether our t-shirts were mauve or camouflage. It was ridiculous. We were patently political, internally combustible. Again, very political. It was ugly for a long time.
Excellent summary. To be fair, that is about something I find far more interesting than this movie.
Agreed.
And so like good job there.
Hey, thanks. I just thought it was important to point out this was a very political film.
Oh yeah, certainly. But so, and also Tim the Toolman riding up with Tim Comerford. I like it. But anyways, moving on to.
Well, actually, it was it was Russian Tim the Toolman and Nicolas Cage.
Oh yes. Okay.
Wasn't it crazy when all the guys from Audioslave got together and then created Rage Against the Machine?
It was fucking nuts.
I know, who would have thought, you know?
Yeah, and they got that other dude, the one who wasn't in Soundgarden.
From Nirvana.
Yeah, Zach Cobain.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Mike, do you want to go through your Amazon reviews?
Yeah, I got some real gems here from the Rage reviews. First one is a 5-star rating from J. Krishna Raspit Top. They titled it "Great Movie and Great Price," and they said, "I love this movie. Cool story. Gangster movie. Father takes revenge for his daughter. Nicolas Cage is awesome. He needs to do another National Treasure movie."
Okay, Mike, you definitely wrote that review.
You know what? I feel like my soulmate wrote that review. Because, it has just the right amount of exclamation points and sentence fragments. I mean, Dave might have written it. I don't know.
What?
I got one from Joanne Solis Cuse, also a 5-star rating. "The message is epic. Live by the sword, die by the sword. A must-see movie."
At least she had a good time with it, you know?
Yeah. Sandra J. Hubbard also wrote a 5-star review. And the review is short and sweet. And it says, "Gart."
What?
How is that spelled?
GEART, which is either a misspelling of great or heart. I'm not sure. But it is Gart by Sandra J. Hubbard.
You had one job is to spell that one word right, and you fucked it up, you dumb bitch.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
This next review is titled "Don't Bother." And it says, "Until Wallywood gets its head out of its political you-know-what, things like this are a waste of time. So good until the inevitable message. Such a waste of a great plot."
But it was so good when they were just killing minorities. And then it got to the point where it said violence is bad, and boom, too much.
The thing, Jess, you don't understand is that killing minorities isn't politics, but pacifism is politics.
Yes, pacifism is.
I got another one from Jeremy Johnson, whose review is titled "Cage is usually a good actor. My wife is from Mobile." And he writes, "Cage is usually a good actor. My wife is from Mobile, Alabama, where this movie was shot. Cage was very friendly to the people he meet on the street there. But this movie was a real waste of his talent and time. The sound editor should be fired. We had to constantly go up and down with volume. The movie lacked any substance. I would wait for this to come on cable, or at least Amazon should make it free with Prime." Well, I have good news for you, Jeremy Johnson. 5 years after you wrote this review, your dreams came true.
The thing I will say is that review is 100% accurate. Like, everything is true about it.
Yeah. Look, he did. This person did bring up the thing that I brought up last time with Wind Talkers. You know, like the huge dynamic shifts in volume level. So, like, I gotta say, like, there's a thing there. But
that's the thing, though. I think the one thing that he is wrong, though, I think his wife's not from Mobile. I think there might be from another city.
That's definitely a lie.
Yeah, I think that's a lie. Because, I mean, who the fuck is ever from Mobile, Alabama? It's a place that doesn't exist, probably.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to drum up publicity for this review. And I guess it worked because we're talking about it here. But
I believe 189,572 people are from Mobile, Alabama.
It's really weird to have that many people in a place that doesn't exist. That's awful.
It is in imagination land.
Mobile is actually a kind of phone. I have a few more here. I know we're low on time probably, but Clayton Winston writes, "A very bad film. Imagine a gangster film. Then imagine an art film. Then imagine an M. Night Shyamalan film. Imagine Nick Cage. Put them together, and what do you get? A very bad film. And
Okay.
Okay,
I mean,
that works.
it's not that bad, I guess. I mean, he's kind of spot on a little bit. I don't know if I would. I mean, okay, it has a twist, sort of, but the twist is not really a twist, and that, like, two of us called it. I don't know, but
Yeah, that was the thing. Two people called it, and I was too tired to notice. That's not really much of a twist.
yeah.
And I will say the one anecdote before we leave. I accidentally watched the movie Primal by Nick Cage because in the last episode I was stupid and made a primal rage about the fucking mid-90s arcade game. So watch that movie first, and then they told me I was supposed to watch Rage, and I'm like, fuck, now I gotta watch another bad Nick Cage movie.
Yeah. Just the funniest fucking coincidence that Nick Cage has a movie named Primal and a movie named Rage.
yeah, you had watched Primal, and I looked it up, and I saw Nick Cage was in it. I thought we got the matchup wrong, and it turns out Primal is not actually in our bracket, I don't think.
No, because that came out since we started this podcast, actually.
Oh God! And that's the thing, though. Now that I have watched both of those movies, I feel more comfortable after this episode is done to just play my version of Primal Rage that I have on the GameCube. So that would be more entertaining than both of those movies combined.
Well, maybe we can knock Primal out right now. Taylor, which do you think is better?
Objectively speaking, Primal is a lot better, but they're both not great movies.
Oh. Okay. But well, I guess
I can't wait for that episode.
That'll be like 2 years from now, and it'll be like, Taylor, we're gonna review Primal, and I'm like, oh fuck, I watched the movie 2 years ago.
You're gonna watch Rage by accident.
Hey Dave, I think it's time for the vote now. You want to give us a countdown?
No.
That's what I love to hear. All right, 3, 2, 1. Gone in
60 seconds.
Yeah.
I
think that's a pretty unanimous one. Gone in 60 Seconds is objectively a way better film.
Yeah, I think that was obvious well before the vote, when that was going to go for the listener. But I did have to say right there, all I could think about was Rage, and I didn't want to say Rage because I knew I was voting against it, but I couldn't remember what I was voting for.
I had to think about it for a microsecond. I'm like, wait, what is it? Gone? I swear to God, I almost said Gone with the Wind there for a second.
But yeah, Gone in 60 Seconds is actually like a fairly good movie. I would actually recommend that to people as like, a good popcorn movie.
I definitely will agree with that, Jess. Very entertaining and also a fairly good film. So.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've given it less than a 4-star rating on any website, you are an elitist and you can suck my bunghole.
So on our next episode, the next two movies will be Army of One and Season of the Witch, which Season of the Witch I have heard of.
I have too, and I'm honestly kind of excited about it. I know it's not the Halloween movie Season of the Witch, unfortunately, which is one of my favorite horror films of all time.
Such a good movie.
Oh, wait, no, I'm a dumbass. I'm thinking of Season of the Witch because I was thinking of the title of the Halloween movie, and the movie I was picturing in my mind was The Sorcerer's Apprentice. So never mind.
This is neither of those.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a fun one.
I think so too. I think this will be a very good next episode. Definitely, hopefully better movies than Rage.
And also is the final matchup of round 1 of Cage Fight.
Yes.
Oh fuck yeah!
And then we'll be finally launching into round 2, which will have a lot better movies than it did any of the ones in this one so far.
I'm so excited about that.
It only took nearly a year and a half.
Oh, God.
Dave is on notice.
See, it'll be way easier to go through this now because we'll actually see some fucking decent movies.
We'll see good movies, and we'll be talking about movies that we've already talked about.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a fun time.
Okay. So yeah, check out, what is it, Army of One and Season of the Witch. And also check out Fred Durst's eHarmony and Fred Durst's CarMax commercials that he directed, which
Once again, not Carmex, the lip balm, CarMax.
yeah, like
Don't get those two confused.
Yeah.
But if we could use this platform to campaign to get Fred Durst in a CarMex commercial, that would be swell as well.
It's just one of those days where you have cracked lips on them.
And as always,
It writes itself.
if we could use this platform to get Garfield Food Truck to give us a sponsorship, they're saying they don't have money. We all know they have money. They have Garfield money, and we need that. Okay.
I think National Pleasure is going to step in on this one. I think it's only a matter of time, baby.
Yeah.
We'll squeeze every last nickel they've got.
You're damn right we will. And so, everyone, hope you had fun on this one, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
This has been a Solid Work production.
Solid work. Solid work. Solid work. Hey, solid work.